North Carolina has emerged as a key battleground in the 2024 election. Both the Trump and Harris campaigns are investing significant resources here, knowing that its 16 electoral college votes could be critical in determining the next president. Remember that no Democrat has won North Carolina in more than 40 years, but the latest polls show a tight race that neither side can afford to lose. Trump recently spoke at a faith leaders gathering and hosted events with Latino supporters in a clear attempt to mobilize different voter blocs. Meanwhile, Harris has also been working to sway voters by holding a town hall alongside Liz Cheney and taping interviews for cable television. The attention from both campaigns highlights how much is at stake in North Carolina as they fight for every single vote. According to the latest Survey USA poll in North Carolina, the race between Trump and Harris remains tight. Harris holds a slim 1-point lead with 47% compared to Trump's 46%. 6% of voters remain undecided, which could prove critical in this swing state. Early voting began in North Carolina on October 17th, and Trump holds a slight 2-point lead among those who have already cast their ballots with 50% to 48%. Among voters who are 100% certain they will vote, Trump leads by 2 points again, with 49% to 47%. Breaking down the demographics, where Trump leads among men by 7 points, while Harris leads among women by 8. Younger voters narrowly favor Harris 47% to 46%, while voters aged 35 to 49 give Harris a 5-point advantage. For voters aged 50 to 64, the race is dead, even with both candidates receiving 46% each. Trump leads by 4 points among voters aged 65 and older. Among racial groups, Trump holds a strong 24-point lead among white voters, including a 29-point advantage among white men and an 18-point lead among white women. On the other hand, Harris dominates among black voters, leading by 62 points overall, with a 55-point lead among black men and a 68-point lead among black women. Harris also leads by 23 points among Latino voters in North Carolina. When it comes to the issues, 28% of voters say inflation is their top concern, and among those voters, Trump leads by 22 points. Immigration is the second most important issue selected by 14% of voters, and here Trump has a massive 79-point lead. Regionally, Trump performs best in the western part of the state, where he leads by 25 points, and in the mountain region, where he holds a 21-point lead. Southern and coastal North Carolina favor Trump by 6 points. The Greensboro area is evenly split at 46% each for Trump and Harris. The Survey USA poll also reveals some key insights into the favorability of both candidates. Donald Trump has a net favorability of -6, which is an improvement from -9 in the previous poll. Kamala Harris has a slightly better net favorability at -3, which is up from -5 in the last poll. When voters were asked which candidate best fits specific leadership phrases, Trump still holds the advantage. On the phrase, "we'll stand up to America's enemies," Trump leads by 13 points with 50%, saying this describes him better compared to 37% for Harris. Although his advantage on takes action rather than just talking has dropped, Trump still leads Harris by 6 points, which is down from a 10-point lead in August. On the phrase strong leader, Trump's lead has narrowed to 5 points, which is down from 8 in the previous poll. His perceived strength on the economy has also dipped with a 5-point lead on the phrase understands the economy, compared to a 12-point advantage in the last poll. When it comes to key issues, Trump leads in several areas important to North Carolina voters. On immigration, he holds a 12-point lead, with 52% saying he would handle the issue better, compared to 40% for Harris. Trump also has a 9-point advantage on national security, with 50% to 41%, and leads by 8 points on crime, with 49% to 41%. Voters believe Trump is stronger on addressing threats to democracy with a 7-point lead, which is 48% to 41%. And on inflation, where he leads by 6 points with 48% to 42%. Trump also has slight leads on supporting veterans with 46% to 44%, and on federal taxes with 45% to 44%, and even on the government's response to Hurricane Helene, where he leads by just 1 point with 44% to 43%. Election-related violence is a growing concern among voters in North Carolina and nationwide. According to the latest data, 26% of registered voters express serious concern that violence might erupt after the votes are counted in this year's election. This sentiment is particularly pronounced among very liberal voters, with 48% voicing strong concern. Meanwhile, 44% of voters report being somewhat concerned, while 18% say they are not very concerned, and 7% are not concerned at all. Foreign affairs is another topic on voters' minds in North Carolina, with shifting attitudes toward the United States' role on the global stage. Currently, 46% of voters believe it would be best for the future of the country if the U.S. takes an active role in foreign affairs, which is a slight increase from 44% in August. In contrast, 34% of voters think it would be better to mostly stay out of foreign affairs, which is down slightly from 37% earlier this summer. A significant portion of voters, 20%, remain uncertain about the best course of action. But what about the other recent polls? Several recent polls paint a close but slightly favorable picture for Trump in North Carolina. According to Insider Advantage, Trump leads Harris by 2 points with 49% to Harris's 47%. Real Clear Politics shows a narrower margin, with Trump holding a slim 0.4-point lead at 48% to Harris's 47.6%. The Silver Bulletin forecast gives Trump a 1-point advantage, with polling at 48.7% compared to Harris's 47.7%, which is a small but notable 0.3% increase for Trump since last week. Meanwhile, 538 also shows Trump in the lead by 0.9 points with 48.1% to Harris's 47.2%. Looking beyond North Carolina, Georgia is another crucial swing state where Trump currently leads. The AJC poll shows Trump ahead by 4 points with 47% to Harris's 43%, while 8% of voters remain undecided. Real Clear Politics puts Trump ahead by 2.5 points with 48.9% to Harris's 46.4%. In the Silver Bulletin forecast, Trump leads by 1.5 points, polling at 49% compared to Harris's 47.5%, and he has gained 0.6% since last week. In Arizona, Trump has a 1.8-point lead, polling at 49.1% to Harris's 47.3%. Trump is ahead in Nevada by 0.9 points with 47.8% to Harris's 46.9%. Wisconsin shows an even closer race, with Trump leading by 0.4 points, polling at 48.3% to Harris's 47.9%. Trump holds a 1.2-point advantage in Michigan, polling at 48.4% compared to Harris's 47.2%. Pennsylvania, another critical swing state, sees Trump leading by 0.8 points, with 47.9% to Harris's 47.1%. According to the Washington Post, the race remains razor-thin in several key battleground states. Trump and Harris are tied in Nevada, each polling at 48%. In North Carolina, Trump leads but by less than 1 point, which highlights just how tight the contest is. Pennsylvania and Wisconsin both show Harris with a 2-point lead over Trump, while Trump has a 2-point lead in Georgia and Arizona. But what about the national polls? Donald Trump is stronger than ever in his bid to win the 2024 U.S. election. The latest polls and projections consistently show him in the lead. According to The Economist's projections, Trump has a 56 in 100 chance of winning by securing 278 electoral college votes. This marks a 1-point increase from yesterday and a 10-point rise over the past week. Harris has a 44 in 100 chance, with 260 electoral college votes. 538 simulations show a similarly close race, with Trump winning 52 times out of 100 and Harris winning 48 times out of 100. On Polymarket, Trump's odds have surged to 64%, which is up 28%, while Harris has fallen to 36%. Electoral college projections from Real Clear Politics give Trump 312 votes compared to Harris 226. With so much recent polls favoring Trump, things are getting worse for Harris. Trump is on his way to a historic win. What do you think? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe.